use you for the example. So anytime I make an improvised tourniquet, I try to use a technique that requires the least amount of parts. So I improvise with the 1/3 rule. In this case here, I got a nice wooden rod, right out of the woods. Don't use anything you don't want to lose. You don't want to use flashlights and magazines because you'll never see them again. But at the same time, this has to be strong enough to withstand potentially a tremendous amount of stress once it gets under pressure. As far as the strapping system goes, I'm using an old military cravat right out of the package. They come at the optimal 1 to 2 inches wide. However, if you're going to cut up a shirt, I recommend that you don't do anything that's super elastic, because elastic stretches and gets thin and may create a cutting surface. So we won't do that. So again, today, nice rod, nice cravat, 1/3 rule. I'm going to tie the first knot 1/3 of the way down the strap, 1/3 of the way down the rod. Get it on there good and snug.
And you're leaving space right here.
I'm leaving a little space, like I said, and now that it's tied on, you can see 1/3 of the way down the cravat, 1/3 of the way down the rod. That's going to give us our gross measurements. Now, just like we did with the cat tourniquet, I'm going to place this tourniquet very high on my patient's leg, doing my best to avoid catching the patient's genitals in there if it's a male. I like to leave 1 hand width between this knot and the knot that I'm about to tie. And that'll come into play here in a little bit. Get my 2 throws. And just like the manufactured tourniquet, I am going to turn this thing until I get hemorrhage control. Now I can already see.
You have hemorrhage control.
You can already see we got a tremendous amount of pressure, but because I was smart with my knots, I can now secure this thing without having to lose any pressure. And this will stay in place, of course, until a higher echelon of care comes to relieve you.